New video today. We're doing two NBA player props here on PrizePicks for Tuesday, December 3rd. Trying to get this video out as soon as possible. Again, recording this video a little bit later than I would have liked, but nonetheless, before I get started, you guys, a couple housekeeping things. Take a look in the description below. Join the Discord, $9.30 per month, 31 cents per day. Again, that's where I post all the plays I'm making on PrizePicks. We have other captures in there as well. Overall, it's a super positive community. Like I said, everyone in there just trying to help each other cash. Currently doing a promo for first-time members of the Discord. 20% off your first month, comes up to like $7 per month to join for the first month. So again, link in the description below for that using promo code TUFF. Also follow me on Twitter, you guys, at ToughPicks, posting daily plays of the day on there, keeping it separate from the YouTube plays. And then also Daily Grind Fantasy, guys, the DFS Optimizer, absolute elite DFS tool that I do use to add plays into my parlays every day. The DFS Optimizer here over at Daily Grind. You get 25% off your first month using promo code TUFF with the link in the description below to join. But like, for example, does all the hard work for you. OG Anunoby, points plus rebounds over 18.5 on PrizePicks, 56.38% odds to hit because it's on FanDuel at 19.5, minus 125, and it's on BetMGM and Caesars as well at 19.5. So we get that 1 point discrepancy, which again for player props in the NBA can go a very long way here. And again, we're just looking for value. Most of these lines on PrizePicks 50-50 odds, essentially. So when you can see these types of discrepancies, it goes a long way to add plays in your parlays or just become more profitable better. So again, link in the description below. Promo code TUFF can get you 25% off your first month over at Daily Grind Fantasy. But let's get into it, you guys. Again, NBA Cup games here today. We have a massive NBA slate overall. We'll be having a ton of plays in the Discord along with Taco Tuesday pairs. But yeah, NBA Cup standings, right, which is crucial. I think when you look at the NBA Cup and kind of teams that need massive games to clinch and move on to the next round, it's kind of what I'm targeting here. More specifically, I think there's upside for players playing a little bit more minutes here tonight as well. But let's get into it. The first play I'm looking at here is going to be Giannis. The most aggressive or one of the most aggressive players in the NBA when, there's a big game on the line. I love this spot here for him. Again, you looking at this matchup, Milwaukee and Detroit are both fighting for the first seed, and they're also fighting for a wild card spot. Like, both these teams need to win, but if they lose, they need to lose by not that much, right? They need to keep their point differential high because you can see here the Celtics at 23. So again, both these players, or both players on both teams want to win this game. And then if they're losing, they want to keep it close. But for Giannis, it's a great spot here. If we take a look, let's actually refresh. This is Outlier, by the way, 7-day free trial with the link in the description. But when we look at Giannis, over fantasy score, right, this season, he's over in 6 of 10 games this season. I guess he's only played 10 games, 6 of 10, averaging 62.91 fantasy. But in games here this season, when he plays those minutes, right, 33 plus minutes, he's over in 8 of 10 games. I don't know what. Is there a filter on here? Hold on. No filter at all. Reset all. So he's over in 6 of 10. When he plays 33 plus minutes, he's over in 8 of 10, averaging 64.74 fantasy. But his biggest game of the year, his best game of the year, has actually came against Detroit. He had 98.3 fantasy. That's not a mistake. 59, 14, 7, 2, and 3. 21 for 34. 98.3 fantasy points earlier this season at Detroit. That game went to overtime. And again, that game was without Damian Lillard, but the upside is just too high. Even going back to last season, for Giannis against Detroit, had a massive game, 79.4 fantasy. There's just really no one on Detroit that can guard him. Like I said, he had 98.3 earlier this season versus the Pistons. Scotty Barnes recently had 63.3. Brandon Miller 60.4. Franz Wagner 54. LeBron and AD both 50 plus. So you can see those type of paint dominant players, or players more specifically that can get to the paint and play make and score for themselves, have had success versus the Pistons this season. And we look at Giannis, fantasy score game lock this season, like I said, locking 33 plus minutes, like 57.6 fantasy, clears the over on this line. So like 37, 11, and 4 with a steal and a block, and what is this, like probably like 2 or 3 turnovers. Yeah, 4 turnovers gets the over on this. I just think there's too much upside for Giannis in a must-win game. At 57.5, like you can see how many times, like even going back to last season, we go back to last season with 33 minutes. Giannis is over this line in 34 of 55 games when he plays a little bit more than that. Obviously has a high hit rate as well, 26 of 39. But yeah, there's just going to be no answer for Giannis in this matchup. If we look at, Tobias Harris is going to probably be the matchup, with maybe a little Jalen Duren and Sar Thompson. But Giannis in his career versus Tobias Harris, just has absolutely feasted against him. You can see kind of the fantasy score numbers. His lowest fantasy score game against Tobias Harris over the last like 3 seasons has been 46.9. Just giving this a ton of upside for this play here. But I love Giannis in this spot. Second play here is going to be Anfernee Simons. I like his over 29 fantasy score. Now the Pistons are not. The Trailblazers are not out of this. You can see here they're technically not eliminated. They could potentially creep up. Like Dallas loses tonight. There's ways. There's a ton of ways for, I think, Portland to win. They need to win regardless, but I think, win or loss, this is a good matchup, and I think it's a game where Anfernee Simons should play, his normal 30 plus minutes. But over in 10 of 18 games this season, but in games when he does see, like I said, those decent amount of minutes, 29 plus minutes, he's over in 9 of 12, averaging 32.65 fantasy. He actually faced the Clippers earlier this season, and in that game he finished with 35.4 fantasy, 25, 2, and 6. But I really like the form that he's been in. You can see these last 3 games for Anfernee Simons. If we just go to like last 5, actually not in 29 minutes. His last 4, he's over in 4 of his last 5, but his last 3, 46, 42, and 38.1. This game against Dallas, 38.1 fantasy. He had 38.1 fantasy points in only 23 minutes. He actually fouled out, which is weird for him. It's like kind of an outlier situation. But 6 fouls, 23 minutes, 38.1 fantasy. Went absolutely insane. 27 points in 23 minutes, 9 for 11 from the field. He's been shooting the ball really well. 10 from 21, 8 for 14, 9 for 11. The volume is obviously going to be there, right? In competitive games, he's going to play north of 32 plus minutes, and this being an NBA Cup game with a chance to potentially move on, I don't see a reason why Anfernee Simons doesn't just go crazy in this one. Again, last couple matchups too, head-to-head against the Clippers on the road. He's over this line in LA in 3 of his last 3, 32, 45, and then 35.4 earlier this season. The Clippers are not great at defending guards. If we go to like their PRA against guards, they do allow the 20th or the 10th most points in the NBA. And we look at other guards, fantasy score game log this season versus the Clippers. Again, this is all just in the month of November. We saw 10 different guard type players clear the over on this 29 fantasy score, or actually more than that, 11 guards clear the over on this line. And like just a simple line for Anfernee Simons, like I said, this season all he needs is 30.3. 25, 4, and 3. I think he can get 20 points in this one pretty easily, just given how he's been playing. I just love the form that he's in. You can see here these last 3 he's been going crazy. So Anfernee Simons over 29 fantasy is the second play. 2 player props for this YouTube video. Again, I'll have a ton of plays in the Discord today. Please drop a like, hit the subscribe button. As always, have a great day. Let's cash.